Hello everybody and welcome to the first of the Orion videos, and it's quite a long video at that because there's quite the performance, not by oneself of course, that is a few and far between occurrence and shouldn't happen too often for fear of breaking MechWarrior Online completely. No, this has the performance of a player on my team at the end who does incredibly well. That said, we have the Orion Kerensky. In-game it's the hero mech, known as the Protector. The reason it was called that was because back before the Civil War update added tech like snub-nosed PPCs, the Protector was basically an attempt to make Kerensky's Orion sans that weapon, and thus I believe it just had like a standard PPC, I can't quite remember. But with the snub-nose being added, you can just change it out and make it into Kerensky's version without too much effort. So it has a couple of medium lasers, a Gauss rifle in place of the standard AC-10, the LRM-15 is removed, has an SRM-4 and a snub-nosed PPC. It's an effective brawler, essentially. Now originally, I believe, original write-ups for Kerensky's mech had always been an Orion, but I believe at that time it was a standard Orion that had since been retconned. I think by Catalyst, it could have been by FanPro. To use the snub-nose instead, I guess just to give it a bit of extra flair, you know, to make his mech, like, he was the leader of the SLDF, it was, you know, during the height of the Star League era, you know, the famous mech he used on all the battlefields leading up to his final assault on Amaris's Grand HQ, and, you know, eventually capturing him. So, yeah, I guess they just wanted it to be a bit more, you know, special and important, so the snub-nose was added and stuff like that, so, yeah, it's a decent mech. There's not many mechs that use snub-nose PPCs by default, so having this hero model is kind of fun. Snub-nose is obviously sitting a nice middle ground for the old PPC weapon system. So it's not too heat intensive, but doesn't do as much damage, but doesn't have minimum range, and it's okay, you know. So it's everything else on it is pretty standard. I think the one thing it actually does lack is the LRM. The LRM was a nice weapon system for the Orion. Standard ones always seem to work better and has the ability to sort of punch at range of its missile system to get in close. And yeah, it's a 75 tonner that on paper does okay weapon system wise, but in practice in its stock weapons it actually feels kind of undergunned. I've always kind of felt that with the Orion. I think it's supposed to be a hallmark of its age, a bit like the Banshee. Although it's a 95 tonner, the standard Banshee just has a PPC and a small laser and an AC-5. It's woefully undergunned for its tonnage, and I think that's what the Orion was. And for a long time, when the Orion first came out, it was considered what, you know, by then like the equivalent of an Atlas. It was the assault mech of its day before mechs got bigger and much more heavier and capable of doing much more damage on the field. So the Orion ended up sort of suffering a bit in that regard, but still became a mainstay because it was still fairly heavy, good armor. So yeah, it kept its place, especially places like the Free Worlds League continue to use it for a long time going forward. And although it has a proliferation amongst pretty much all the great houses, the Orion, I think, does have a kind of favourable position by the time of 3025 with the Free Worlds League, and probably a few, you probably see a bunch of them in Steiner and Damien and Lao space. Not so many Kurita, but definitely a lot in the Free Worlds, so yeah. That's really about it with the Protector, to be honest. I said that this match was the reason I kept it, because this is a brawl, as you can see. It's a shit show of a fight. It's all over the place. There's no clear winner for a long time. It's kind of well, I'll say that there's no clear winner at first. It looks like it's kind of going to be kind of balanced, but then I think we lose like 3 mechs very quickly. Then it starts to feel like, oh, this is going to turn into a quick avalanche and murder ball. And then it kind of peters out for a bit, and I don't know whether they stall or what, but they end up being sort of hemmed in, and I keep trying to move around hoping to find like a weak target, because I get opened up, as you can see here. So I'm looking for something that I can hit with the PPC Gauss combination, just try and do like one big heavy punch, might be able to blow a side torso off or kill somebody. And I think I got a good hit on a Shadow Cat at some point. That might be coming up now, actually. Yeah, here we go, there's the bastard, there we go. I got a good hit on him there. But it's not looking too rosy. Here we are in conquest mode, so you know we're suffering on the fact that we can't hold all of the points. Most of our lights are dead, bar one, and that light mech is the hero. This pilot, who you will eventually see, by God, he had a match.
New target acquired.
Incredible match. A performance that I think is rarely seen in sort of MMOs, sorry, in MWO and sort of most shooters, to be honest, and especially in shooters we have one life before you got to go to a different match. Oh, at the end here, I was hoping to use the supernova for cover, but yeah, so that was me popped. My damage was okay, but I kept recording this because I thought, oh, this would be over quick. I thought, I might keep this round just because it was a fight. I died near the end. It would be alright. So, but it'll be acceptable footage, enough for me to ramble about good old Slaphead Kerensky and his complete failings to protect the inner sphere by running away. Yes, the succession war still would have happened regardless of him being there, but hey, he could have at least protected Earth and the core systems with Comstar's assistance. He could have protected those people, but instead he allowed that war to sort of consume more worlds, and it forced Comstar to take the role they did, which would have the knock-on effect years later of creating things like the Word of Blake and the Schism and the Jihad, whereas if he'd stayed, and the SLDF could have been able to be a sort of stabilizing force within the galaxy. But what do I know? I'm just a window cleaner. So here we are, we're on board. I believe, because the preview window's so bleeding small, I think it's like Lancers from Spain. It's in a Flea. It's a stealth Flea with a bunch of ER mediums. And, yeah. It's a performance, folks. So, look, he's already up 2. So, two of the enemy have been taken out. And I think this Flea was probably the reason why they got stalled and it didn't turn into a snowball earlier on in the match, because I think they had sort of hit them from behind and had been sort of pecking away at them and had killed a couple before having to sort of fall back or cap a couple of points, because that's the only reason I think we're still in the match, as well as I think this Flea was the reason. So obviously I'm at this point expecting now they're just going to swarm in, to both sides. They're going to, smack them and then move on. Nope, they don't do that. They allow, I think it's Epsilon to get recaptured, and they're off. So I'm still thinking at this point, it's like, yeah, it's only a 20-tonner. Now that they're the only target on the field, they're going to have multiple mechs firing at them. Obviously, it's a stealth mech, but, this map's got a lot of sort of wide open pathways like this where you can see something moving in the distance pretty obviously. So, oh, hello Hebe. Oh, sorry, I've got a Hebe trying to climb on me. Hello, missus, you gonna... No, she sat on my leg. She's a cold cat. It's getting cold over here now, so she just wants warmth. Oh, poor little thing. No meows, just a little hug. That's what she wants. So yeah, so there's this Nightjeer up here who's obviously trying to get some hits with the pull back. Let's sympathise here. Let's empathise with this. He's trying to hit a light mech that's moving at that speed, especially the 20-tonner one, with dual Ultra 10s. It's not going to go well, is it? Let's face it. And this guy, this poor bastard and the champion, no chance. Bright red CT, boom, 3 kills. Heads back. Nightjeer. It's got a chance of killing him, of course. It's still heavy. Still got armor. He's not caught out. Strangely enough, none of the other players seem to come over to help at this point. I believe there are still several enemies left that could have converged on this location by now. It's obvious that the fight's happening over here. You'd only have to sort of look over, and I'm assuming that one of those two guys was saying I need assistance, so he would have pointed out his location to his teammates. But this doesn't seem to happen for whatever reason. So I don't know if it's a mix of a lack of coordination or communication going on here, or just the fact that maybe, I don't know, maybe the other team at this point were all sort of in it for themselves and there wasn't much sort of attempt to assist to get this final kill and win the match, which could have easily happened, but MechWarrior player, quite rightly, he decides he's going to step onto the point because it's his best chance of being able to at least, you know, neutralise the point, stop the points from creeping up for our team. And then we've got the Shadow Cat that I hit earlier, and I can see that I did decent damage. I think I called him out with that Gauss PPC hit that I got on him earlier, but it wasn't obviously enough to put him down. So MechWarrior is dead at this point, so now it's the Shadow Cat. He's wiggling, it's also twisting like a madman, and boom. It still doesn't help him. And then back to capping, recapping this point. So now we're up to 5 kills in a Flea. And I know for some people this will be like, oh, this is so passé, Rocket. I get 12 kills whenever I take out my Piranha. Oh. But it's just the fact that this kind of match, with all of the different elements that were going on at the same time on a conquest map, where you could have gone and grabbed 4 points while he was fighting for this one, just everything seemed to converge at the same time to allow him to kill multiple enemy team members on the same point, cap it, and then head over and get this one. So we're coming up to the final one. Oh, I can emphasize with this one. I can empathise with this one because this poor bastard, he's legged. It's a leg derby. Luckily, I don't think he's a standard engine derby. Oh, it's a Jenna 2C. Sorry, yeah, that's right. But this fucker's not got much left in him, and he's SRMs as well, so you know hit reg is all for shit. And that's it, 6 kills. Pop the Jenna, and yeah, that's pretty much it. He wins it. He gets enough points for the team. He gets 6 kills in a Flea, and that's that. That was this round. I was sat there saying to Gitter, if we win this based on this, I have to keep this footage. I have to keep this win. It's like I recorded this performance, and there we go. We won it. So that was that. That's the Orion Kerensky model, but also an incredible play by another player, which I thought was worth keeping. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a good week. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.